from Rocket Lab's Mission Control Center. We are bringing you a live look of our Electron rocket ready for launch from our private spaceport, Rocket Lab Launch Complex 1 in Mahia, New Zealand. My name is Muriel Baker. It's great to have you join us for our 24th Electron launch, a mission for Earth imaging company Synthetic that we have named The Owl's Night Continues. We have a tight opportunity to fly this mission today as we work within an instantaneous launch window. That means we will launch Electron today at exactly 09:37 local time or 20:37 UTC. But if we need to stand down for any reason today, we do have backup opportunities available every day for the next 13 days. But back to the pad, and if you're wondering why the view looks a little different for today's launch, that's because Electron is lifting off from our new second launch pad, Pad B, at Launch Complex 1 for the very first time. We operate 2 pads at LC-1 now, and between these and our pad at the Mid-Atlantic Regional Spaceport in Virginia, our customers have 3 launch pads to choose from across 2 continents. Having 2 pads in the one complex means we can carry out more than one launch campaign at the same time. And with 3 satellite clean rooms, a rocket hangar big enough for multiple Electrons at once, and other facilities to support multiple missions, we can have one customer getting ready for a mission while another is on the pad ready to fly. So with 2 pads, there is no stand-down period needed after a launch, which makes it possible to launch back-to-back if we need to. There are 120 launch opportunities possible every year from Launch Complex 1, and if you do the math, that means missions just hours apart can take place, not weeks or months or years. Also, if a customer needs a little more time on the ground, as is pretty common, rather than holding up the whole manifest, we can simply bump the next one up the launch queue with 2 pads available. Another bonus of operating our own spaceport is that we avoid paying hefty costs to launch from a range owned and operated by another organisation. Let's check out what more our founder and CEO Peter Beck has to say about our shiny new launch pad.
Hello and welcome to Launch Complex 1 in the beautiful Mahia Peninsula in New Zealand, the only private orbital launch site in the entire world. So just behind me here is our newest addition, Pad B. What we're doing here with Pad B is essentially doubling our launch capacity. The ability to launch and our launch cadence is essentially doubled by having an additional pad.
Launch Complex 1 is like no other launch site in the world. We literally started on a green field here in Mahia Peninsula, built 1 little pad and a small integration facility, and now we have 2 pads, a number of clean rooms, making a world-class launch facility. We created a launch complex that was capable of launching once every 72 hours, to a range of inclinations, right from mid-inclination, about 30 degrees, all the way to sun-synchronous orbit, all from Launch Complex 1.
For us, it's really important to have launch pads in both hemispheres of the planet. So we have 2 launch pads in the southern hemisphere, 1 launch pad in the northern hemisphere. For our government customers, it's really great to be able to have that flexibility and that access where they don't have to leave US soil to launch out of LC-2. And for our commercial customers and some of our government customers, they have the flexibility to choose which pad they want to go out and which pad suits their schedule the best. Right now we've got 1 customer that's ready to go on this pad behind me, and another customer that's processing and getting ready to go on that pad.
So with Pad B, we took a lot of the design from our original Pad A and made some small improvements to make our operation that much more efficient. We use the same integration facility, the same rocket runway, with our final infrastructure all placed in a concrete pad no more bigger than a tennis court.
LC-1 really is the latest state-of-the-art launch facility. We had this real luxury from day one saying, okay, blank sheet, how are we going to build a launch pad to really be the 21st century launch pad? And what you see here is just an absolute streamlined flow to be able to take customers' payloads, get them processed and get them on orbit. And the second pad really just solidifies that. So launch range is much more than just a couple of pads. Out at LC-1 here, you see multiple clean rooms that enable us to process multiple customers at one time. Up the top of the road there, we have range control, where we are in charge of the entire range. We don't rely on any government range, any government assets, AFTS systems, tracking dishes, everything. It's all owned and controlled by Rocket Lab. Having Pad B really means we can eliminate pad recycle time, which enables us to just do launch after launch and just pace them one after the other.
With 2 launch pads, we have doubled the capacity and reached ultimate launch flexibility. This means when a customer needs us, we've got a pad ready. From LC-1, we've flown over 100 satellites to date, all supporting everything from climate science through to international logistics, maritime surveillance, and soon we look forward to launching to the moon and beyond.
Launch Complex 1 has become the gateway to space for small satellites.
We're coming up to the go, no-go poll scheduled for T-minus 12 minutes. This mission's launch director, Joseph Carpico, will run our operators through their systems checks during one of the gates we need to pass through to get to launch. Let's listen into Mission Control to hear what they have to say. Unfortunately, we didn't get the audio through there from Mission Control, but we can confirm we are going to proceed with the mission and move towards T-0 and liftoff. We are still on track for our instantaneous launch opportunity at 09:37 local time or 20:37 UTC. Now that we know where today's mission is launching from, let's take a closer look at what is on board Electron today. The LC-1B continues as a dedicated launch for StriX-β, a Japanese company building a Synthetic Aperture Radar, or SAR, constellation. If the name StriX-β sounds familiar, that's because Rocket Lab delivered the first satellite in their constellation, the StriX-α satellite, as part of the LC-1B Begins mission in December 2020. So you can see where today's mission name comes from. StriX-β satellites are designed to provide images that show millimeter-level changes to the Earth's surface from space, through clouds and at any time of the day or night. Because it's so accurate and available in all weather, SAR data has a wide range of uses, including urban development planning, construction and infrastructure monitoring, and disaster response. Here's a video from StriX-β with an example on how SAR imagery can help in a disaster response to flooding. Today's mission is just one of 3 launches that make up a multi-launch contract with StriX-β, so you'll be seeing more owls flying later this year and next. As you can see on your screen, we are opening the top clamp on the strong back, getting ready to retract it for today's mission. This is the tall structure on the launch pad you see. It will slowly move away from the rocket to prepare it for launch. The strong back keeps Electron firmly in place, but as we prepare for liftoff, we need it out of the way. So we open its top clamp and retract the strong back about 20 degrees, clearing the way for launch. We are now at T-minus 5 minutes 40 or so seconds, and Electron is looking ready from the pad at Pad B at Launch Complex 1. The eagle-eyed among you will have noticed the red stripe on Electron's second stage. If you've been following our missions for a while, you'll know that normally red is for recovery. However, we are not attempting to recover the first stage from today's mission, but we are continuing to test systems associated with recovery, including enhanced batteries to boost performance of the second stage, to offset any mass gains we carry in the first stage's recovery systems. After 3 successful booster recoveries from the ocean, our recovery program is progressing well, and we are very excited to attempt our first helicopter capture in the coming months. Here's some exciting footage from our latest test. How cool was that whistling sound on descent? Today's mission will be our 24th Electron launch, and we have delivered more than 100 satellites to orbit since 2018, none of which would have been possible without our dedicated teams across the United States, Canada and New Zealand. As we increase Electron's launch cadence and continue development on our larger rocket Neutron, and expand our space systems and satellite manufacturing capabilities, our team is growing. So if you'd like to be part of it, check out the open positions on the career section of our website at rocketlabusa.com. But it's time now for the final milestones before liftoff. The team are tracking no issues with the launch vehicle. StriX-β's payload remains healthy, and the weather is looking clear for an on-time launch. Soon, at T-minus 2 minutes, the switch occurs from our team manually controlling the clock to having the countdown take place during an auto sequence run by the rocket itself. At T-minus 1 minute and 30 seconds, we should hear the call that LOX loading is finished and Electron's tanks are full. And shortly after that, at T-minus 1 minute, we can expect confirmation that the launch vehicle's first and second stages are pressurized for launch. Then it's on to the countdown run by the launch director from T-minus 10 seconds and liftoff of the mission for StriX-β. Let's go to the audio channels from Mission Control and listen in.
All avionics batteries have switched to internal power. Vehicle is on internal power. EFTS is green and enabled for flight.
Box load is complete, system in recirculation. Anti-geysering is disabled. High flow engine purge enabled. Deluge is activated.
Stage 1 and Stage 2 are pressed.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Stage 1 propulsion is nominal.
T plus 40 seconds into the mission, and our 24th Electron has lifted off from Pad B at Rocket Lab Launch Complex 1. The beauty of launching in the morning means we had a clear daytime view of Electron powering its way to space for Synspective, but before it gets there, Electron will pass through a critical point in the mission to clear max Q. This is the moment where there is maximum aerodynamic pressure working against the vehicle, hence max Q, causing the most amount of stress the rocket will experience during its climb. Let's listen in for the call. Oh, so we just heard it there. We have cleared that gate. That's what we wanted to hear. Electron's 9 Rutherford engines are firing well, and the mission remains on its correct trajectory to space. Now, we will run through 3 actions that will happen quickly, one after the other. First, all of the Rutherford engines will throttle down before shutting off completely. That is main engine cutoff, or MECO. A couple of seconds later, we'll have separation of the first and second stages, followed quickly by the single Rutherford engine on Electron's second stage, lighting up and continuing the mission to Earth orbit.
Stage 1 propulsion is nominal, preparing for MECO in roughly 30 seconds.
Fifteen seconds to MECO.
Stage separation successful.
Stage 2 ignition.
There we go, we heard it and saw it for ourselves. Electron has had a successful MECO, stage separation and ignition of its second stage engine. We're coming up on fairing deploy shortly as well. We'll see Electron's nose cone separate and fall away to clear the way for this Synspective satellite, so let's keep an eye out for that one.
Fairing jettison succeeded.
There you go, you saw the Electron fairing falling away as planned. The rocket's second stage is continuing nominally with its inspective payload to orbit. The vehicle is currently at an altitude of 130 kilometres and reaching speeds of more than 8,700 kilometres per hour.
HVB battery discharge is nominal.
We are now at T plus 3 minutes and 52 seconds into the mission, having completed stage separation and fairing deploy from Electron as well. We are coming up next to battery jettison, so that will be coming up in just a few moments. But Electron is looking good, carrying on at an altitude of 160 kilometres and more than 9,800 kilometres per hour. So it looks like the mission is continuing nominally as we get ready to deploy Synspective's satellite to low Earth orbit. We are at T plus 4 minutes and 43 seconds into the mission. It's travelling at speeds of more than 11,000 kilometres per hour and at an altitude of 185 kilometres.
Stage 2 propulsion is nominal.
Those familiar with our 3D printed engines will know that Rutherfords use batteries to power their pumps, but much like anything that runs on batteries, we need to swap them out when they run down their power and move to a new one to keep things moving. The process of switching out this power source mid-flight is what we call battery hot swap. Sometimes you can catch a glimpse of these battery packs falling away. Let's watch and listen.
Throttling down.
Approaching hotspot.
Battery jettison confirmed.
Hotspot.
And there they go. Thank you, battery packs, for your service. Electron's trajectory continues to look nominal as we hit T plus 6 minutes and 25 seconds into this mission.
AFTS has safed. HVB battery discharge holding nominal.
If you're just joining us for this mission, our 24th Electron launch, we are well on our way to low Earth orbit for Synspective satellite on board Electron today. So we are at T plus 7 minutes and 24 seconds with Electron carrying on nominally. We've made it successfully through our mission milestones to date, and coming up next will be the engine cutoff on stage 2. So that's coming up in just a few moments. We are about a minute away now from the second engine cutoff on stage 2 of Electron, but the mission is carrying on nominally at T plus 8 minutes and 20 seconds, and we'll be coming up to that milestone shortly.
Entered burnout detect mode.
Electron is now coming up to its next mission milestone, SECO, or second engine cutoff. Like when we shut down the main engines earlier in the mission, the second stage single Rutherford engine will stop before the stage separates from the kick stage and the mission continues to orbit. So we've had MECO and we are coming up to SECO. We do love an acronym in the space industry.
SECO confirmed.
Vehicle is in transfer orbit.
So you saw it on your screen there. The Rutherford engine on Electron stage 2 has successfully throttled down, and stage 2 and the kick stage have cleanly separated. The kick stage will now enter what we call a coast phase. For the next 50 minutes or so, it will do its first lap around Earth in an elliptical pattern. When it reaches the apogee of this orbit, or the moment it is at its highest point on this egg-shaped path, the Curie engine will fire up and put us in a circular orbit. Once there, we'll deploy Synspective's StriX-β satellite. We won't have a live video feed of payload deployment, unfortunately, but do stay with us because we have a simulated view of that happening that we'll come back to as the mission closes in those final moments. We'll take a bit of a break now as payload deployment is expected to take place at T plus 53 minutes, so I'll see you back here then. a successful on-time liftoff at 09:37 New Zealand local time, or 20:37 UTC. The kick stage has completed its first pass in an elliptical orbit of Earth, and we've had a successful Curie ignition to position the kick stage in a circular orbit, so we can deploy this inspective satellite on board. Well, unfortunately, we didn't hear it on the audio channels. I can give you confirmation that the Synspective satellite has been successfully deployed by Electron on this, the Owl's Night continuous mission. That completes today's 24th Electron mission and officially brings the count of satellites deployed by Rocket Lab to 110. Congratulations and thank you to our customer Synspective on this latest successful launch. We're already looking forward to our next mission with you later this year. A reminder that we are always on the lookout for new talent to join the wider Rocket Lab family, so if you're interested in joining the team, check out the careers page of our website at rocketlabusa.com. And a huge thank you to you at home for tuning into the live stream of this mission. We're going to end the broadcast here, but remember to follow our Facebook, Twitter and Instagram pages for information on our next launch. For the first time from Pad B at Launch Complex 1, this is Rocket Lab Mission Control, signing off.